Hello, good morning, everyone. Today we have a very interesting program because we have two guests that I have a pleasure to collaborate and working with them in something that is very difficult. And I believe they are an example for the state and the stakeholder organization about listen the community. Hola, muy buenos días a todos. Hoy tenemos un programa muy lindo porque estoy con dos mujeres maravillosas que he tenido la oportunidad de trabajar y han dado un ejemplo de cómo las autoridades pueden escuchar a los community health workers. Welcome, Alison and Ada. I wanted to thank you for being here because I know you are very busy now with all the fire in Spokane, and I know it's very difficult for you this time, and also with the whole pollution that is causing for the air. I wanted to have the opportunity to ask yourself to introduce Alison, but we are going to start with Alison and then we Ada. But thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having us. My name is Alison Poulsen. I use she, her pronouns, and I serve as the Executive Director of Better Health Together.
Thank you. Entonces, Alison, yo le dije que gracias por estar aquí. Como saben, hay incendio casi en todo el estado de Washington y Oregon, y el humo y el aire que estamos respirando está mal. Ellas están en Spokane y por estar aquí yo sé que es muy difícil y les doy las gracias. Alison Poulsen es la directora ejecutiva de Better Health Together y les dice gracias por estar aquí. Hi, Ada, how are you? It's my pleasure that you be here. Thank you so much. Can you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Dr. Ponce. It's an honor to be here, and thank you for the invitation. My name is Ada Estrada. My pronouns are she, her. And I am here alongside Alison, representing BHT as the Chief Equity and Strategy Officer.
Yes. Entonces también aquí está Ada. Ella también trabaja con la doctora Alison. Con Alison y ellas están aquí en representación de Better Health Together. Ella también es la directora ejecutiva y están aquí pues para hablar con todos ustedes. Thank you so much to both. And then I wanted to ask, what is Better Health Together?
I will start us off. Better Health Together is a local health collaborative with an audacious mission to radically improve the health of our region. And we like to think about that work as pretty all-encompassing of what are the things that every person who lives in our 6-county plus the 3 tribal reservation areas need to thrive.
Yes. Entonces, Better Health Together es una organización que trabaja para todas las personas que viven en la región, que son 6 regiones que están cerca de Spokane y 3 naciones de los americanos indígenas, y que el objetivo de ellos es traer calidad de atención a los pacientes. Thank you, Alison, for that. And Ada, how do you define Better Health Together?
So we, as an organization, we work to improve healthcare access, as Alison has shared here. We advocate for policies centered on equity and accountability, accessibility, and we do that facilitating conversations in partnership, because we know that it takes all of us to really level the playing field for community health. And I appreciate that we do that looking at the ecosystem of social drivers of health, and that we continue working with partnership, community-based organization to provide the best, health outcome for our region.
Wonderful. Entonces, Ada dice que al igual que la presidenta, ¿verdad? Alison, ellos trabajan no solamente por la atención de la salud y la cualidad, pero también para la justicia de la equidad para todas las personas, y que ellos tienen comunicaciones y conversaciones con todas las comunidades para traer esos servicios a la comunidad. Entonces, I wanted to thank you for the wonderful work, and then we are going to talk about what happened, I believe, at the beginning of the year, Mm-hmm. At the beginning of the year, as you know, HERSA sending a grant, and this grant is for training for community health workers. But the problem was that because it's government grant, this is only to training people that have U.S. citizens. And then you apply and you win in the grant. And when you win in the grant, after that, you do the announcement. And the announcement say that, like, HERSA requirement, that this is going to be offered to U.S. citizens to training community health workers. And then many organizations, many people, feel hard, because I wanted to tell everybody why. Because most of the community health workers that work with farm workers or people looking for asylum or in a refugee, they don't have a documentation. In reality, only maybe 15 or 10% of the people that are working in the field have legal status. The other people is looking for that. And this is because it's a structural barrier. And then they wanted to be training. But when they see this, they are receiving many contacts, because the coalition is statewide and we're working with this population. And I get mad, and I writing a petition, to talk, a petition for offer this workshop for everyone. And I send them that to my connection and the people. And then I contact Washington DOA, and then we wanted to talk to you. Entonces, déjenme que diga la historia. Como al principio del año, nosotros hubo un grant, ¿verdad? Que es un proposal, una subvención, donde usted aplica para trabajar con los community health workers, darle entrenamiento de parte del gobierno. HERSA es el grant. Pero ellos estaban excluyendo a todos los community health workers que no eran ciudadanos. Esto no incluye residentes o personas que están buscando asilo, o la mayoría de nuestros campesinos, ¿verdad? Porque muchos de ellos solo tienen, un 15% tienen la visa H1, los demás no tienen. Entonces esto causó mucha tristeza por muchas personas, y yo, como esta organización trabaja con migrantes y refugiados, hice una petición para pedir, pues, que esta oportunidad vaya para todos. Entonces trabajamos con el departamento de Washington y también con Better Health Together. Then my question is, when you apply for this position, you were aware that this thing will be cause maybe some harm to other communities?
I might answer this in a couple different ways. I think, it feels important to note that Better Health Together has been on an equity journey to behave like a anti-racist health transformation organization. And as we've gone through that process, we've spent a lot of time internally with our staff and with our board, thinking about and being aware of intent versus impact. And I think this has been one of those experiences where our intent did not match up with the impact that we had on the community. Honestly, I don't think we saw the exclusion, which was a real equity blind spot for us in terms of thinking about community health workers as a broad group. And so I think when the petition arrived with us, we took a big moment of pause and really saw, one, where our misstep was, and I think more importantly, wanted to really ensure that we owned up to the harm that we caused and we learned from that so that we did not make this type of error again.
Alisa, thank you. And I know it's not easy to talk about that. It's not easy for me too, and for you too. I want to translate because it's very important. All our community health workers, listen. Le pregunté a Alison si cuando ellas aplicaron a este grant se daban cuenta que podía hacer daño a la gente que se excluye, ¿verdad? Entonces ella dijo que va a contestar primero explicando lo que es la misión de Better Help. Y entre eso es que ellos han luchado hace mucho tiempo por la inequidad y por la igualdad de derechos para todas las personas. Ellos son una organización de cambios, ellos hacen esto con las personas que trabajan con ellos, con su personal, y también lo aplican con todos los servicios que ellos tienen. Entonces, cuando ellos aplicaron a esto, hay como impacto. Ellos estaban viendo entre la oportunidad y el impacto, ¿verdad? Pero entonces aplicaron, y cuando aplicaron realmente, como dice ella, no estaban viendo realmente el impacto que podría traer esto, sino como la oportunidad. Cuando nosotros hicimos la petición, ellos tomaron un tiempo para reflexionar, ¿verdad? Y trabajaron muy duro en cómo resolver este problema. Yo le quiero dar muchas gracias a Alison porque ella está hablando de este tema aquí, que no es un tema fácil, es bien difícil. Así que, thank you, Alison, because I know you meet with us like 3 or 4 times. You was always very respectful, both of you, Ada and Alison, and supportive. And I know you intend. I was angry, maybe emotional, but you were always very, 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 very professional. Le quiero decir que cuando esto pasó, yo hablé con ella y al principio, pues, yo estaba enojada, muy enojada, pero ellas siempre mantuvieron calma y fueron unas personas bien respetuosas. And then I know that you work so hard with your staff. Ada, can you telling us what were the efforts that you're doing, to resolve this issue, like Alison said, like blind, in the beginning about the consequence. You were talking about the impact, and this is not going with the impact you wanted to bring with the opportunity,
Thank you so much, Dr. Ponce. I really appreciate the opportunity really to work with you and alongside you to also look at ways that we can repair the harm as an organization. I think we with the what it has allowed us to do also is look at ways that we can fund and create, opportunities for our community health worker that would serve people interested in participating in a comparable fashion. And we've met with community members. We met with you to look at our application process, to review what that looks like internally, and how we can really engage in a process that involves our community, bring our community voice in how we create, that participation and opportunity for our community that were most impacted, and really have a more inclusive design. So from the funding pathway and what that would look like, to how people can apply in ways that feel safe and represent and meet the needs. So we met with you, Dr. Ponce, and we looked at our process internally, how we advertise, and got feedback from you, from our community members, from Latinos in Spokane as well, to have a more inclusive design.
Thank you. Entonces, yo le hice una pregunta a Ada Estrada. Entonces le dije, explícanos un poco el proceso que pasó después de que encontraron esto y cómo resolvieron el problema. Entonces, Ada nos contestó, bueno, que ellos estuvieron midiendo cómo podían solucionar el problema, empezando de cómo se iba a hacer la invitación a los community health workers, revisaron conmigo cómo podría ser más amplio, discutieron entre todos cómo se podría integrar y cómo cambiar las cosas, pues, para que ese daño que también tal vez se pudo producir no se evitara. Y que fue un proceso un poco largo y digamos, pero que ellos lo tomaron muy bien en serio. I wanted to say that I am not a professional translator. I am an interpreter. Okay, I don't translate word for word. Exactly. Pero thank you, Ada, because I was witness about your sincerity and honesty. Because some people is very political and say, yes, we are going to help. They promise to help and they disappear and never do that. But you really take that. And this is why we are here doing this program, because I wanted everybody to listen the effort that you do, and you are an example how to really collaborate with the community. And I believe you have to teach this to everybody, including Washington Department of Health. Because you were there, you giving the face, and you giving answer. Yo les quiero decir que estoy muy agradecida tanto con Ada como Alison, porque ellas tuvieron un programa, digamos, ellas escucharon a la comunidad, no fue fácil, hicieron muchos cambios que no son fáciles de hacerlos, y que escucharon, y que ellas son un ejemplo de cómo resolver los problemas, de escuchar a la comunidad y no de prometer como hacen muchos políticos, y que todo el mundo debería aprender de ellos, incluyendo el Departamento de Washington. Así que there are many people in this there are many people in the chat. We are going to come in with that, but we are going to go to a I say educational commercial. Entonces hay mucha gente, ¿verdad?, escuchando el programa. Nos vamos a ir a unos cortes de educación y después vamos a continuar con los saludos. Gracias.
Mi hijo fue maltratado en una escuela de Snohomish por ser latino. Al querer mejorar una de las calificaciones de sus clases, la consejera le gritó y lo reprobó, causando que mi hijo no pudiera graduarse. Me quejé con el director y la escuela me amenazó con arrestarme si seguía hablando de lo sucedido. No podemos quedarnos callados ante la injusticia. Llama al Consejo de Logro Estudiantil de Washington y reporta estos casos al 360-753-7800.
Hola, soy Beatriz, soy madre soltera y tengo 2 hijos con necesidades especiales, Abel y Jason. Tenía mucho miedo de vacunarlos y hablé con su doctor. Me dijo que la mejor manera para prevenir el COVID-19 es vacunarlos y tener al día sus refuerzos. Los niños con necesidades especiales deberían estar al día con sus vacunas para reducir la infección del COVID-19 y sus nuevas variantes. ¡Vacúnate!
Este mensaje es patrocinado por Community Health Worker Coalition for Migrants and Refugees y el Departamento de Salud del Estado de Washington.
Bueno, regresamos y quiero darles las gracias a esos Community Health Worker artistas que cuentan sus historias en nuestros comerciales. Thank you. We're coming back, and I wanted to thank all these community health workers that are artists. They are the ones that do, and they share their experience and the history in our educative commercial. Then we are going with the getting from this program, and we are going to see what our audience engages any question or what they are asking or say to us. And then we can start with the message. Entonces vamos a escuchar los mensajes, vamos a leer los mensajes que están escribiendo nuestros community health workers. Rolando Jiménez say, thank you, Dr. Ponce, and welcome, Alison and Ada. Rolando, I know he is from Olympia. Then we have Betty Martinez. She said, Doctora Iliana, and welcome to our guests, Alison and Ada. Thank you, Betty. Betty is, I believe, in Federal Way. Claudia Mulero, good evening, Dr. Ponce. Welcome to our guest. Bueno, that was in English. Thank you, Claudia. And English and Spanish. Then we have the next one is Victor Jimenez. Hi, Dr. Ponce, and welcome to our guests. Then the next one, say that Estela Carrera. Oh, hello, Dr. Ponce. Thank you, Estela, for being here with us. Maria Moreno, welcome, Dr. Ponce. Mrs. Poulsen and Mrs. Estrada, I hope all your family are safe with this environment weather. Yes, thank you, thank you. Estela Carrera fans, welcome to the guests. Thank you, Estela. And Maria Chocorenta say, buenas tardes, Dr. Ponce. Good evening, Dr. Ponce. Thank you for bringing this topic that is very important for the community. And then in English. And okay, entonces we are going to continue, ¿verdad? And then again, we are very thankful for all your efforts. And Alison, after all this, because it was not easy, no? There were a lot of conversation internally and externally. How you resolve, what is happening? Can every community health working to apply to the training?
Indeed, they can. We feel really privileged that we had access to some other financial resources to be able to ensure that anyone who was interested in participating could be part of the program, and that your documentation status was not a barrier to participation. So that feels really good to us. We know such great work is happening throughout the community. I would also say that there are a couple of other really important things that have happened for BHT. This has been, I think, one of the most important experiences we have had on our equity journey, because it really opened up both our view into how limited our view into the work was sometimes. But secondly, it really had us double down on our commitment to actually work with the community before we started launching programs, because I think the honest assessment of this is we probably should have seen this issue ahead of applying for those funds, and we could have brought to bear a more comprehensive approach that wouldn't have been so harmful. So while I'm really proud that for this particular program, we have an ability to be very inclusive, I think the longer term impact of how we assess grants that we go after, programming that we develop in partnership with the community has been far more cemented than it was prior to this.
Alison, le pregunté a Alison que nos cuente, pues, si ahora los community health workers, si todos pueden aplicar para esta oportunidad de entrenamiento que también da economical stipend, ¿verdad? Lo vamos a preguntar eso a ella. Ella contestó sí, que en realidad todos pueden aplicar independientemente que tengan un estatus legal. Quiero decir que esa es una barrera estructural, eso lo digo yo. Alison también nos dijo que eso también les abrió a ellos, digamos, la capacidad de ver sus propias, digamos, que a veces uno no mira las consecuencias, y esto le ayudó a ella para saber, para consultar a la comunidad antes de hacer algo, porque hubiera sido mucho mejor si ella hubiera consultado a la comunidad y no cometer ese mismo error. Otra cosa fue que lo más bonito de esta, digamos, de esta, por la petición que ustedes mismos firmaron, y después por colaborar con ellos y estas discusiones, es que ahora todos pueden aplicar. Yo creo que realmente eso es lo que queríamos, y es que todas las personas que están por allá, por Spokane y el área que ya tienen, apliquen a esta oportunidad, y que en el futuro ellos van a estar más atentos de esas, digamos que de eso que a veces uno no lo mira. Alison, I wanted to tell you, based on what you say, that is not uncommon. You know, this is what happened among our leaders, because in health equity or in health equity or in any, races or thing, sometimes because we are not allowed for that, and because we don't have, like for example, you went and you only see the opportunity, like you say, but not the consequences. It's because, and we have no offense, because I believe I told you that. It's because you don't know what is to be an illegal person. You don't know what is to be an alien. And then you don't have the obligation to do nothing. But because you fight against health inequity, social justice, you care about that. Because when you are in a comfort level, some people like to keep it in their way. They don't want it to do nothing. And you have all the law is with you. You don't have to do nothing. You can offer this only to people that have U.S. citizens. But you choose to do something different, and this is what I admire. This is why you are in my program, and this is what I am so happy to meet Ada and you. Okay, and I wish other people that is in a position like you will learn from you, because they have too much to learn from you. And one thing that you have was humility, cultural humility to listen. And this is not everybody. Quiero decirle que lo que Ada hizo, o Better Health Together, fue muy importante, porque en la igualdad de la salud, en la igualdad de la salud, en el ver de los racismos, a veces lo que pasa es que no se dan cuenta del daño que producen. Alison o Better Health Together estaba protegido por la ley de no hacer nada y de dejar que solamente las personas que tenían ciudadanía fueran entrenadas. Sin embargo, Alison escuchó con humildad, con cultura, y vio que eso no era apropiado. Ella nos escuchó, habló con nosotros, y al final, gracias a esas pláticas y a que Alison estaba abierta y que realmente está luchando en contra de la desigualdad y de la ecualidad y equidad en la salud, ella ofrece, como Better Health Together, como la presidenta, ese entrenamiento para todos. Y eso es lo importante, porque no todos hacen eso, y quiero que todos los que me están escuchando le manden una palabra a Alison, le pregunten a Alison y a Adam para que ustedes cómo se sienten de que ahora eso es para todos. Thank you, Alison. Ada, my question for you is, you were in this conversation, you know, and then if you have a lesson, what did you learn about that process? What do you want to recommend other people, you know, about what did you learn about this process? Because you are also a person in power, you know, and you listen like Alison with cultural humility, and also you working, all of you working very hard. I know that my dear friend that is not here today, her name, remind me of that.
Oh, Kim Wilson.
Kim Wilson. Kim, salud. I wanted to say hello to you, Kim, and I am so appreciate all your support during this person. Ada, what you recommend to other leaders like you that maybe sometimes they have unintentional, you know, harm? How you wanted to tell them? What do you want to tell them?
Well, I think, you know, what's really important here is to center the voices of the people we serve. Mm-hmm. And that's always a value that we need to, you know, elevate, and we need to continue to elevate, because the community we serve understand better the complexity and the nuances of the challenges that we face. Not necessarily the people at the top always, but I think, you know, if we can create a process that really, as you mentioned, foster that deep listening to the community and the voices that we want, for which we want to see a change, I think it's important we center them in the process.
Thank you. And then, Ada, I wanted to thank you for that response. Ada said, le pregunté a Ada que ella le recomendaría a otras organizaciones, a la gente que está en el poder, ¿verdad? Ocupando esos cargos de líderes como Alison, que es presidenta, Ada es una directora ejecutiva. Entonces ella dice, bueno, lo más importante es escuchar profundamente lo que dice la comunidad, porque a veces los líderes están arriba, pero no están viendo lo que la comunidad está viendo. Entonces, escuchar con atención y también resolver lo que, o darle a la comunidad tal vez lo que ellos están pidiendo. Thank you to both of you. I wanted to see if we have a question or comments from our audience. Hola, gracias. Quiero ver si hay preguntas o comentarios nuevos de las personas que nos están escuchando. Así que pongamos esos comentarios. Rolando dice, excellent news, Dr. Ponce. We wanted to thank Community Health Worker and Better Health Together because they made this possible. And they are so happy. Thank you, thank you. Rolando also say, good decision that is brought for the benefit of all people that doesn't have documentation. That is very important. Sherry put all this. Thank you, Sherry Foster. And then also we have Maria Moreno. Thank you for this chain and for the community, to listen to the community. Now all the community health working have the possibility to have the workshop. That is true. Rocío en inglés dice, gracias, doctora Ponce. Ada and Alison dice, trabajar o estar con las personas vulnerables de la comunidad. En de tiempo que eso puede traer trauma. Hay personas que tienen trauma, PTS, y que dan emoción en nuestra piel. Buena pregunta. How you all take care of yourself? You wanted to answer, Alma? I believe the question is, it's very difficult to work with people that have a PTS, trauma, and how you take care about yourself.
Ada, you want to go first?
Sure. Thank you. Thank you for that question. I'm the mother of two beautiful humans, Noah and Camille, and the wife of social advocate as well, social justice advocate Jaime Jose Estrada. And I think the work I'm very deeply committed to the work I do at BHT because it really aligns with my personal values. I always think of my family and my kids and the generation that allow me to be here today, my ancestors. And I feel deeply honored to be able to think about a better world and participate in ways that really bring us together, bridge the gaps, cultural, linguistic, in any kind of forms that exist, so that we can have a better future. So for me, that speaks joy because I'm in a privileged position to do that. And I know that my community, my people will benefit from that. And that brings me joy. We often talk about what brings you joy, and I look at my kids, that's what brings me joy. It's to dream of a world where they can be who they want to be. So it's hard work, but it's also really, really important work.
Thank you, Ada. Entonces le hicimos la pregunta a Ada, ¿verdad? Que hizo Alma, que cómo ella así que le trae felicidad en trabajar con todas estas personas que tienen trauma, a veces PTS, que es postraumática estrés. Entonces Alma dijo, bueno, primero soy la madre de dos niños muy bellos y la esposa de una persona que trabaja por la comunidad, que es Miguel Estrada, y que esto también ella se siente parte de eso y que a ella le gusta estar en este trabajo y escuchar a la comunidad, porque esto va a beneficiar a toda entera a la comunidad. Así que realmente si ustedes me preguntan qué me trae felicidad, pues mis hijos me traen mucha felicidad. Thank you, Ada, for sharing that. And now you, Alison.
Well, I would share that I too get to be the mom of two amazing young people, Barrett and Claire, and my husband works for the City Council of Spokane, and so we spend a lot of time as a family talking about the good we want to see in the world, and we've been really privileged both to get to do work that is good for the soul, and as white people having not to struggle through with sometimes being taken seriously or being invited to the table. I'm in English is my first language. People generally understand what I have to say. And so I often feel that it is most important for me to be a good listener. And in order to be a good listener, I have to keep myself in check and keep my ego in check. And that, I feel so honored that Dr. Ponce thought that BHT was worthy of giving this feedback to. And so while challenging, kind of, but also it came from such an aligned place of value for us that I just saw it as really a gift. And I think some of that is because we work really hard to make sure we're taking care of ourselves and that we can come with an open heart to conversations like this. So I know I'm privileged that my basic needs are met, and it allows for us to use that privilege that we have to try and create more system change.
Gracias, Alison. Entonces le hicimos la misma pregunta a Alison, ¿verdad? Que lo más valioso, ¿verdad? Es para ella. Y entonces ella también dice que es madre de 2 preciosos niños, que su esposo trabaja para, es un cónsul, un representativo en Spokane, y que los dos se sienten muy bien de tener esa oportunidad, y que ellos entienden que ellos están en un lugar de privilegios, porque ellos son blancos, le entienden el idioma cuando hablan, casi siempre, nadie, ¿verdad?, entienden el inglés, pero que a pesar de todo eso, ellos sí tienen muchas ganas de ayudar a las personas que están no a ese nivel, y que fue un momento difícil cuando nosotros trabajamos juntos, pero que ella le sabe que no fue difícil, pero que venía de la voz de ustedes, de la comunidad, y que por eso fue también una oportunidad muy buena para ellos para trabajar y remediar, digamos, esa situación. Again, Alison and Hadda, thank you for listening to us. I wanted to tell you that I am doing that also because I wanted to teach other stakeholders to do that. And I wanted them to listen to you because you are very important. You do a lot of good work in Spokane area and surrounding. Because community health worker, whatever they wanted to call it, community health worker, the real community health worker work with the community they serve. And ignoring people that has a legal document in the state is ignoring a lot of people, principally the people that is working very hard in the construction, in the farm working, in the cleaning, in the restaurant, in your houses. And they are working there not because they wanted to be cleaner or they wanted to be farm worker. It's because there is no choice, because there is a structural barrier for a broken immigration system that keeping these people like that, keeping our community, our people like that. Then this is why they work, but they are not stealing and they are not living from the government, because I wanted to make clear, all of these people cannot have benefit because they don't have a documentation. And then people pay what they wanted to pay. They taking the money from them, insurance, holiday, the people that have it, and some of them didn't pay because they are illegal. I say before was slavery, before slavery, feudalism, slavery, and now Latineris. I don't know what is, but the community that are coming here. Le estaba diciendo que yo también quería mandar este programa porque quiero que aprendan de Alison o de Better Health Together y HADDA, porque ellos sí escucharon en la comunidad, y que un verdadero community health worker es aquel que trabaja con la comunidad que representa. Y si la comunidad no tiene documentos, pues ellos van a estar. Ellos son los que trabajan duro en la agricultura, en los campos, en la construcción, en la limpieza, en los restaurantes. Y si trabajan ahí no es porque quieran, sino porque el mismo sistema no le da a ellos libertad de trabajar en áreas profesionales que ellos pueden hacer. Y eso es porque tenemos un sistema migratorio descalabrado que permite esto que haya. Antes era el feudalismo, después el esclavismo y ahora los latinismos, le llamo yo. But this is why this kind of thing happen, and the system helping about this discrimination. But in reality, I wanted to say something, Alison and Adam, and I know you know better than me, that everything that you go coming back to you, okay? American is a play opportunity, but American doesn't know what is to have a war. Now you see what is happening in Europe, you know, and to immigrate to another country, maybe you don't like it, you know, like the refugee we're getting. When I come in here, I was a former refugee. I didn't like to come here, and it's very sad. Then, you know, there is a song in Spanish say, "Y the north where the south," mean the American has to immigrate to the south. That will be different because we don't treat people like Americans immigration law treat us. Seeing a human being coming here, they put him in the jail with this, and they are not criminals. You know, this, they're selling the movie like that. Le estaba diciendo a ella que es muy triste, ¿verdad?, emigrar de otro país, a venirse acá como inmigrante, como refugiado o por lo que sea, y ser tratado como criminal cuando no lo son. Y más triste, ¿verdad?, porque es la ley, y que hay una canción de Ricardo Arjona que dice si el norte fuera el sur, o sea, si serían los americanos que fueran allá porque hay guerra en su país. Entonces no los vamos a tratar así porque nosotros no somos así. Now, I want to say that I wanted to listen from you, Alison. What do you want to recommend to other stakeholders to do? Because, you know, you shouldn't be teaching them how really to work about health disparity, because many people listen, they say, yeah, we are going to change, very political, but they don't do. You do. This is why I am very proud of that. You made the difference. And you can teach all these people that had the position of power to do what you do. I know what's not easy. I know you have to look in maybe for additional funding, but you repair something that the system create to be no social justice, is to be social injustice. Then why you recommend to these people that is in the power like you?
Well, I think the first thing that I would say is do what you say you're going to do. And I think so often people do say, oh yeah, we'll change. And then we hide behind restrictions of money. And that becomes as far as we push, as opposed to we have to find a solution. It's unacceptable to say there's a segment of our community that doesn't get to access resources, especially such a valuable group of people who provide so much value to all of us. So I would implore my colleagues to either don't say you're going to do it or do what you say you're going to do. I think the second thing that that we're really committed to, and I would hope others who share a vision of equity and inclusiveness in our communities, is to actually call out when we see this type of discrimination happening. And that as we surface it, it becomes easier to problem solve to it. It's when we gloss over it, oh, this feels uncomfortable or awkward, or I don't know how we'd solve it, that even more both harm is created, but also the change that we're talking about at, you know, when we talk big picture about things doesn't happen. And then the third thing is, I think we need to put more dollars in flexible ways into community-based organizations, period.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Well, entonces le hicimos la misma pregunta, ¿verdad? Y Alison nos contestó muy bonito y dijo que lo primero es que las personas que están en poder, ellos, si dicen que van a hacer, que lo hagan y que no se escondan detrás y que lo más importante es que hagan lo que dicen que van a hacer, ¿ya? La segunda fue de que hay que incorporar a la comunidad para tomar decisiones y resolver los problemas en conjunto. Y la tercera es que haya fondos para todas las organizaciones que trabajan con la comunidad, ¿verdad? Porque poner muchas restricciones a estas organizaciones también se está poniendo problemas. Thank you for that, Alison. I also learned a lot from you and Ada and Alison. And Better Health Together, all my respect. state organization I wanted to work in the future, because really you are making the difference. And when you see, and this is why everybody shouldn't be, when if we are dedicated to social justice, you do it, like you say, or don't do it, but don't say you work for something that you don't do it, and listen to the community, and then provide funding with no restriction, because this is what non-profit organization need. I believe we have some question or comment, and I wanted to share with you. Let's see, I see. Entonces veo unos comentarios, dice Cherry. You can read in English, I'm going to put it in Hispanic. Doctora Ponce, gracias por el trabajo duro y a ustedes también gracias por su pasión. Es un honor trabajar con Better Health Together debajo de estas dos mujeres maravillosas, Alison y Adam. Y todos mis saludos y el trabajo duro que es necesario. Thank you, Sherry. I am so happy that you are there supporting these wonderful women, and it's true, I agree with you. Y también tenemos a Estela Carrera Infante que dice, yes. Estela Carrera dice, yes. Más dinero para que sea flexible. Less work y para que podamos trabajar con eso. Gracias, Estela. El siguiente, tenemos Rolando. Dice, how our community can participate in this program. O de training.
So we can, I wonder if, it's possible to send some information about the program via, to you, Dr. Ponce, to share with our community health workers and the community who's interested in learning more about the process. We can provide, the process and some, links and contacts to explore that further. I would be, happy to do that.
Yes, we are happy to get that information and share with our constituents. Entonces se le preguntó a Ada que cómo podíamos obtener esa información de estos talleres. Entonces Ada nos va a enviar esos talleres por email y lo vamos a compartir con todos ustedes. Entonces, before we finish, I wanted to let our guest from today to giving you a message. You want to start, Alison? Yes.
Alison, you want to?
Sure. Well, I just want to say, first and foremost, thank you to Dr. Ponce for valuing this partnership and working with us as we learned, honestly, as we learned. And to all of the community health workers that are connected to both Dr. Ponce and the community health worker movement, we are really grateful for the important role that you are playing day in and day out. And I would say that we see you and we see the importance of the work that you are doing. And we know that your role is critical in us getting to community health for everyone.
Thank you. Gracias. Ella dice que primero quiere dar las gracias por esta oportunidad y también que es un honor haber trabajado con nosotros para resolver este problema y que ella mira a toda el Community Health Worker Coalition for Migrants and Refugees, su trabajo, y sabe que somos muy importantes para el trabajo de la salud en la comunidad. Thank you so much for that, Alison and Ada.
Thank you. I echo deeply the feelings, the thoughts that Alison shared here. I appreciate so much your leadership, Dr. Ponce, and your partnership and your voice and your advocacy and the work that you do and the spirits that you bring, to the work and to the community here. That work is vital to the well-being of our neighbors, of our community, and we can't do this without you. Better Health Together will continue to work to support you and all our community members by showing up with actions, commitment, hope, accountability. And to do this well, we need to continue partnering and lifting the voices of those in need. And thank you for your service. Thank you for your patience, for your dedication, for your trust, as we continue to do this work together.
Gracias. Thank you, Ada. Ada sé que también ella quiere refuerza lo que dice Alison y que ellos tienen acciones y están cometidos a participar y a apoyarnos y que no solamente palabra, pero en acción y que es importante para ellos seguir trabajando con la coalición, que vamos a continuar trabajando para la salud de todas las personas con la comunidad. I am very proud to meet these wonderful women. Either our start was not good. Entonces le quiero decir que estoy muy agradecida de trabajar con estas dos mujeres bellas, que aunque el comienzo no fue bueno, I am so happy I write to you and you listen. And the community health worker is here not to be good with people that doesn't want it to change. We are watching people that is not doing the right thing, and we are going to speak up, because we represent those people that don't have voices, but we have voice together, and we are a very important segment of the population. And if some people doesn't like me, I don't care, because my word is not to be law for anyone. My law is to represent those that they don't have a voice, eyes, or action. When something is not right, it's not right, and we have to speak up, because it's not right. And maybe we change, if we make those changing that we together do, because you're doing great changing, we are changing, and then denying the education to the children or the farm workers that are American citizens, because they were born here, is a crime. Because people and community health, your education that you're doing is good, you know, and high standard. And if we deny a community health worker that is a migrant, we are denying the U.S. citizen that education. And this is very bad, because only education say all of us. And then we are denying the parents that are educated are parents that are going to do better outcome in health, in work, and surviving. And this country coming is making for immigration. And I don't know why it's so anti-immigrant today. You know, that is very sad, because we are losing the value of the first people that founded this beautiful nation. This is why in the world they like us. But we are acting now like we are not that people anymore. But we have to, like you say, to listen and coming back to that style. And thank you. Entonces le dije que muchas gracias, y le dije que, les digo a todos que negarle la educación a los padres de los niños que son ciudadanos americanos es un crimen, porque padres que están más educados tienen mejores probabilidades de salir adelante y de darle educación a sus hijos. Entonces, este es algo serio, porque ellas están produciendo un entrenamiento muy bueno, de alta calidad, que debe de ir para todos. Then, thank you, and I believe Stella have some good message that I wanted to finish with that. Entonces, Estela tiene un mensaje final que quiero terminar con eso. Entonces, si podemos, el mensaje de Estela. Entonces, ok. Estela dice, dice, wonderful, Dr. Ponce, inmigrantes, gracias, doctora Ponce, los inmigrantes deberían ser tratados con respeto, sin documentos o con documentos, y los ciudadanos americanos. Gracias. Muchas gracias por su esfuerzo. Thank you, Estela. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to you, Alison, HADDA, and I can't wait to do a project together. We are going to work.
Let's do it for sure.
Yes.
And I have in my something. We are going to have a meeting about that. But thank you, and send me you. The last question, because I wanted people know. I know we are a little late, but you have the same benefit for migrant with document or no document. You know, you're giving also the economic support to people that attend the workshop. It's a question. Do you give the same economic support to people that has no document?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Muchachos, esto es muy bonito porque la gente que está recibiendo este entrenamiento va a tener ayuda económica. Le vamos a preguntar a Ada y ellos sí están recibiendo, tengan o no tengan documentación, el ayuda económica. Ada, how much is the support for the community health workers that take this training? You approximately, the people say, how much you work to bring that money, you know?
Alison, do you have that?
The stipend is $7,500.
Escuchen, muchachos, cada persona que toma este entrenamiento está ganando 7,500, ¿ok? Y ella, a Better Health Together, trajo ese dinero para las personas con documento o sin documento. Alison and Ada and Better and all the team of Better Health Together, thank you for the bottom of my heart. I am so happy that people that hasn't had documentation and people that have documentation is treating very well, and they're going to have a professional workshop that will compensate them because you value them. You are treating them with respect, and because you are paying for their time. And this, you know, the future generation are going to thank you to you. Thank you so much. And then Adriana say, thank you for the opportunity. Dice, Sharon, I love to participate. Yes, we are going to send them that. Maria los entrenadores. They say, if the training will be in Spanish or in English?
That's a very good question. I think that right now the training is in English, but we're looking into ways to offer the training in a different language. So this is something that we're looking into.
Dice que ahorita son español,
Right,
pero
Alison, you have something to add to that?
Pero que ellos están buscando en español. Can't we ask to do the training in Spanish? We can collaborate in that.
We received a question about that. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
That would be great.
Y Estela también dice, yes, they are happy. And this is going to be viral. Thank you. And have a beautiful play. And keeping safe from the fire and the bad quality of air.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Gracias, doctor.
Mi hijo no necesita la vacuna del COVID-19 porque él es muy fuerte. Además, he escuchado que la inmunidad natural que obtengo por contagiarme del COVID-19 es mejor que la que se adquiere a través de la vacuna.
Te equivocas. Vacunarse contra el COVID-19 es la forma más segura y confiable de desarrollar inmunidad frente al COVID-19. Y es nuestro deber como padres proteger a nuestros hijos.
Papá, yo sí me quiero poner la vacuna contra el COVID-19, así me sentiré más seguro. ¿Y tú, ya te vacunaste?
¡Vacúnate!
Este mensaje es patrocinado por Community Health Worker Coalition for Migrants and Refugees y el Departamento de Salud del Estado de Washington.